Woodland United Fellowship, Pastor Dooba here. I've been thinking this last few days about the message on Sunday and the passage, and God just brought to my mind a passage from James chapter 4. And I want to read that and kind of elaborate on it just briefly here in this video. It says in chapter 4, starting in verse 8, it says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. And we as Christians love to hold on to the promises of God and the character of God. This is a promise of God I think we don't hold on to tightly enough. And recognizing, I think that it's because we have to play a part in that. Draw near to God is our job, and he will draw near to us. And that is so important. But how do we do that? How do we draw near to God? Because we want God to be close to us. It says, going on in verse 8, cleanse your hands, you sinners. Purify your hearts, you double-minded. Speaking of those who don't have faith. Verse 9, be wretched and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to gloom. What are we talking about here? And I think the answer is this. Recognize the severity, the devastating effect of our sin. Recognize how powerful it is and that it needs to be brought to the cross. Draw near to God. Take those sins, take that shame, take the burdens, take the hopelessness, take the faithlessness, and bring it before Jesus. Cleanse your hands, purify your hearts, find out where there's a lack of faith, you double-minded, it says. Be wretched and mourn and weep. What are we talking about? To recognize how severe sin is and put it before Jesus, because he did the work on the cross already. Draw near to God. Bring those things before the cross, and he will draw near to you. But that's difficult to do. Why? Because there's pride that gets in the way. We feel like we can just do it ourselves. Verse 10 goes on in James chapter 4. It says, humble yourselves before the Lord, and he will exalt you. Humble yourselves. Lay yourself down before the cross. Lay your burdens down before him, and he will lift you up. Verse 12 of Jeremiah 29 says this, then you will call upon me, God speaking, and come and pray to me, and I will hear you. Another promise of God. Yes, spoken to the Israelite nation, but I think also very true for us today. Verse 13 goes on in Jeremiah 29, you will seek me and find me when you seek me, not with some of your heart, but with all of your heart. My friends, let's seek God with all of our hearts. Let's draw near to him with everything that we are. This coming Sunday, we'll spend some time celebrating communion in the parking lot. Actually, I want to encourage you as we approach that time that you would daily pray that God will reveal to you maybe areas of your life that there is faithlessness, a double-minded kind of attitude. Maybe there's a sin that's being harbored in your life or an unforgiveness that's taking place in your life in relationship with someone else, that God will reveal those things to you and that you would lay those things before the cross. You would confess those things to him and then experience him coming closely, intimately in relationship with you. God desires, as we heard on Sunday, to be intimately close to us, for us to know his love, not just in our heads, but in our hearts, in our own emotional life as well, to know him closely. But there is a job that we have to do, and that's bringing before him our pride and our arrogance and our thoughts and belief that we can do life by ourselves. Draw near to God in your own prayer life this week. See what God reveals to you. And then we come together this Sunday as we celebrate communion. We can do that with a pure heart, pure mind, because we know we've taken everything to the cross, recognizing his supremacy over all things, including our sin. And then we then can experience forgiveness and life and hope in Jesus Christ. Pray deeply this week. Pray intimately and closely with God this week. Set aside time this week to do that. I look forward to seeing you this Sunday as we worship God again. We'll see you soon.